Alright, so it's definitely trickier than I had hoped, but I am currently putting the 2 screws back in, and this is the only way I can do it unless I want to take the tire off, which I do not want to do. So I recommend getting yourself one of these if you don't already have one. Makes it a lot easier. So these are the 2 screws. They come out pretty easily. It feels like butter in there when you're taking them out. It feels very easy to turn. And then the one screw, this is the rear tire, driver's side. The one screw that's not actually a screw underneath here, this is that rivet that's 2 pieces, and you have to take out the center piece, and then the inside will come out. And then when you put it back together, you're going to put the inside piece up through 3 layers, through this layer, this piece, and then there's another piece inside that you can feel with your finger. You put the inside piece first, and then you push this through. It's a 2-handed job. Push this through the inside piece, and it makes the inside piece spread out so that it will stay up in there. So that is the way to install the rear mud flap. I'm gonna assume that the front one will be easier since I can turn the wheel and can use my drill for that. Hoping to use this one here. For the front mud flap, we just have 2 screws here. They should be easy to remove. I turned the tire so that it's all the way in. We're going to remove them with the drill, and then I will replace them after attaching this. Should be easy. This is the driver's side mud flap, and it was really easy to remove these 2 screws and then put this on and reattach the 2 screws. The only warnings I would give you is be careful not to over tighten them because it's just going into very thin material, and then be careful about misthreading the screws when you put them back in. It was pretty easy to misthread them, so I had to back out and start again, but then they ended up working just fine. Seems pretty sturdy. I don't think it's going anywhere. All right, here I am about to install the passenger side mud flap in the front. So first I'm going to simply remove these 2 screws. So easy. You can see there are these sort of hard rubber washers. You don't need to do anything with those, just ignore them. You put this back on, or you put it on. And start it. Be careful not to misthread them. I did that on another one and ended up just backing it out and trying again, which seems to be fine. My only warning for this would be careful with misthreading, and then also be careful not to over tighten if you're using a screwdriver like I am, because then you will ruin them. Okay, here we go. Nice and tight. There is no other attachment point. That's it. And these are set in there as tight as I want to make them. So I think I'm done there. All right, here I am about to install the rear passenger mud flap. This is my Hyundai Elantra Hybrid Blue 2023. And I've had it about a month, and I wanted these mud flaps. So here we go. It does come with screws that I did not end up needing. I think if you end up stripping out your screws or something, then you might want those, but I don't need those. Now, on the rear, you have to pay attention to the fact that there is this extra hole here, which is attached with a plastic rivet, and it's a 2-piece rivet, and we'll look at that in a moment. These are attached right here with these 2 screws here and here. Pretty simple. And you'll want one of these offset screwdrivers. Takes a little while, a little elbow grease. I do have a short driver, but it is still too big for this small gap. I'd say this gap is maybe 2¼ inches. So there really isn't enough space for an actual driver here. So So I want to show you this two-piece rivet. You have a flathead screwdriver. You can get to it. Now when you look under here, you'll see two, but you want the far away one, because if you line this up, you'll see that the spot that it lines up with is the far away one, right there, the one that is inside. Now this holds together 3 layers. It will hold your mud flap, and then this layer here, and then this layer up here. So it's 3 layers total. What we have to do to get this out is we have to remove the center piece. Well, we can remove the whole thing that way. But the center piece comes out completely. Let me show you how that works. Otherwise you can't get it back in. So here's what it looks like when you get out the rivet. And if you try to squish this or squish it back in this way, it doesn't really work, but you can pull out the center completely. You might need a screwdriver for this part. Oh, I can't get it off right now. Let me see. What if I push it through? There we go. And then when you go to install, you need to push the inside part right here up through all 3 layers, through the mud flap and then through the 2 layers I showed you. Once you get it up there, then you have to push this part in, and it makes the wings spread inside and it stays in place. So back to the car. My next task will be to remove these screws, which takes a couple minutes, but I will point out this is easy to do. You can see I'm even doing it with one hand right now. They're not really tight on here, and when you put them back on, you need to be careful. Make sure that you don't over tighten them. It is really soft, and so you have to be careful not to strip them out. So once you get those off, then you're going to put them back on. When I did the other one, I did the rivet first under here. I did that first to make sure that that worked. This then was just a little bit floppy, and so I went back and attached the screws, and it worked beautifully. All right, I've taken out the 2 screws, one here and one here. This is the rear passenger side. And down here, I have taken out the inside rivet. I'm gonna show you, make sure it's lined up. It is lined up. It became unaligned there for a minute. This little plastic piece came out because I was fiddling with it, but I just need to make sure it's lined up. I'm gonna be putting the rivet in. Let's see if I can video this. I'll be putting the rivet in with the inside piece first. So let's take a look. I've got my mud flap. You can't really see that. I don't know if this will work. We'll try it. And I have the mud flap lined up with the 2 pieces inside, this outer tab and the inside one, and then I grabbed the wrong rivet piece. So there are 2 rivet pieces, but I need the one that looks like an opening crown. That is the first layer that goes in. I'm doing this without looking, so I'm going to hold it in there. I'm going to grab the other one, looks like this, and I'm going to push it into the crown one. And it should pop, but it's not. Did I do something wrong? Maybe. There it goes. There was the pop. Very satisfying pop when it gets up in there and it's not coming out. All right. The only thing I have left to do is attach these other 2 screws right here.
I'm making my video for today.
Are you wanting to be on the video, buddy? Let's see, I'll do the top one first since I'm one-handed. And then I'll have to use my offset Phillips head to finish that one. You want to try? Okay, when I turn off the camera, I'll have you help me, okay, buddy? It's that easy. A 7-year-old could do it. All right, so then I will use my offset to finish putting these in, or my 7-year-old will, and I will have my mud flaps. Thanks for watching. All right, thank you, buddy. I appreciate your help. All right, I have finished attaching my new mud guards. These are the ones from Amazon. So I'll show you what they look like. There's the front.
Wow.
Only 2 screw attachment points. Looks pretty good. There's that one. Also only 2 screw attachment points here and here. Those 2. And then the other rear one is back here. The 2 screw attachment points. And then the rivet is back under. Way down there. That's the rivet that you have to pull out with the flathead screwdriver and then pull apart. All right, thanks.